وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُّدَّكِرٍ.
And we have certainly made the Quran easy for remembrance. So is there any who will remember?
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah, amma ba'd. Inshallah, we'll continue with the Arabic lessons. We'll do a quick recap regarding the material that we've covered before, and I am aware that the last lesson ended with Muslimatun and we didn't complete it, and inshallah we'll complete that. So far what we've learned is that the Arabic words are three types, or you can put them into three types. So they are ism, ism. The other was fi'l. And the third type was harf. Okay, so those are the three types. And I mentioned that we are at the moment going to just cover the ism, and the isms we said can be put into four categories, four things that we can say about ism, and they were status, and we talked about this before and we gave an example, so you can look through that if you need to recap regarding Daraba al-Mudarrisul Taliba, and how we can change the endings of the Arabic words to reflect the change in status, which is slightly different than in English. So we've got status. Then we've mentioned the order is not particularly important, so we'll put here gender. And we said it's either feminine or masculine. Feminine or masculine. Arabic, there is no it. So those objects are going to, even those objects like table, chair, they're going to be either feminine or masculine. Has to be one of those two. Number. So we talked about number, and again slightly different from English in that we have singular, you have your dual or pair, so two, and then you have singular, shall we put one there. So one, and this will be 3 plus. Okay, so in English slightly different again. English you'll have 1 and 2 plus, so 1 singular, and anything more than 1 would be plural. However, in Arabic you have 1, you have 2, and then anything more than that, i.e. 3 and plus, then that is plural. That is plural. And then the final type was type. And that is definite or indefinite. So like a or the, as an example. So the book would be definite, and a book would be indefinite. And those are the four types. And then we also went through Surah Fatiha and the vocabulary of Surah Fatiha, which I'm not going to repeat because it should be already there in the video, and something hopefully by now, if you've been through it, you'll be familiar with. And then we talked about the status states, that there's three. There's the rough. There's the nasb, and there is the jar. So we have those three types: raf, nasb, and jar. Okay, and then we moved on and we talked about the dual state. The rough endings are with the dhamma. The rough endings are with the dhamma. The nasb is with the fatha, and the jar is with the kasra. Jar is with the kasra. And then we moved on to, and we talked about the table, and which we'll go through that in more details now, inshallah. Okay, so we moved on to the table, and table is already there. In your handout there should be the table, so refer to that, and we have the singular. So this column will be the singular. Okay, and then we've got in the singular, we'll split that up into 3. This is our rough singular, and the example we gave was Muslimun, and I said you need to memorize these, so hopefully you should know them by now, which is again Muslimun, 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 Musliman. Okay, Musliman, and this is the nasab state. And the jar is, and we add the alif. In the nasab we add the alif when writing it. That's how we write it. Pronouncing, saying it, you can't tell, but in writing you need to add the alif there. And the jar is Muslimin. Muslimin. The jar. So that was just singular. And then we have the dual state. The dual state. Okay. The dual state. So just thinking how's the best to write this. Let's write it in blue. So it's Okay, so you can see all of that's the same. So these endings are just something's added on. So in the rough it's Muslimani. Muslimani. See, just kasra there. So this is not to do with the case ending. Can you see here? This is all to do with singular. It's all to do with the case ending. This is not. This is change that happens is with this alif. Is with this alif. That's where the change happens. So in the rough it's Muslimani, and in the nasb it is Muslim. Mainly. And again the changes are here. So where you had the alif before, this time we have the ya. This time we have the ya, and again for the jar, exactly the same as nasb. It looks exactly the same. So if we saw it on its own, we would not be able to tell which one it is. We could tell because of the context. When we see it in a sentence, we can work out which one it is. We can work out which one it is. Otherwise, we would not be able to work it out. And I said we need to memorize these. So it should be Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin, Muslimani, Muslimaini, Muslimaini. Okay, that's so far. So that's your 2 plus. And then we've got our 3 and plus, so this the plural as such. And this is where we have the shadow in there really. Again, same so far. Why don't we do that like this? that the first bits are the same, identical. All of them, those are the same. Bits are the same. The ending here, the ending changes in terms of the fatha, kasra, and the dhamma. And here it's changing is in the actual letters, not right at the end before. So can you see alif? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And here it's going to be Muna, Muslimuna, Muslimina. And obviously these are connected. I'm just writing it like this so you can see. Okay, so Muslimuna, Muslimuna. Okay, so here it's the wows. In terms of what changes from these, it's the wow. Yeah, yeah. Again, these two are the same, so you can't tell. But remember, this is Muslimina. So this is Muslimaini. Okay, that was to highlight it. That's Muslimaini, the dual. Here it's Muslimina. Muslimina. Okay, so this is what you need to remember. Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin, Muslimani, Muslimaini, Muslimaini, Muslimuna, Muslimina, Muslimina. And you should know it very well. So Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin, Muslimani, Muslimaini, Muslimaini, Muslimuna, Muslimina, Muslimina. And that's how you should be able to know it. And as I said, it shouldn't take very long. It's not the case of just learning it once and then forgetting about it. If you repeat it, inshallah, that will be easier. So that is what we covered last time. And then we began to say about the feminine. With the feminine, what happens with the feminine? We're going to change it to the feminine. So how do we make it to the feminine? Okay, so how do we make it to the feminine? Okay, so we're moving on to the feminine. And this table, I will go through it, we'll go it, so it's only going to be complete from there and then go on, so on and so forth. So again, we concentrate on the singular side. Muslimun is made feminine by adding something we call ta marbuta. Again, if you can't remember the names, not that important. Important thing is the table. So Muslimatun. Ta marbuta is added on. Muslimatun. Again. Okay, and again, exactly like before, the endings are what are important. Muslimatun, Muslimatan. Here, we do not add the alif. Here, we do not add the alif. Okay, the ta marbuta can't add the alif because the ta marbuta will disappear. And here we have the kasra. Okay, we have the kasra. So, Muslimatun, Muslimatan, Muslimatin, Muslimatin, Muslimatin. Okay, so that's what you have in that one. That's what you have in that one. And here we have let's delete this bit and add this bit then. Okay, this should give you a clue that the endings don't really change in the feminine for the second person as well. But because we've got the ta in there, that comes here now, so it's going to be mus. So it's muslimatani, 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 muslimataini. Okay, we left the fatha there. Fine. So muslimataini, 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 and here again muslima. Muslimataini. Okay, so the feminine is muslimatun, muslimatan, muslimatin, muslimatani, muslimataini, muslimatini. And again, this table you need to know. And as I say, very similar to the last one, so it should be straightforward. Should be straightforward. Should be straightforward. The other thing to mention. Okay, well, let's finish the plurals. Okay, now we've got plural. Plurals in feminine. Can you see what I'm changing here? Plural here is a bit different. So the endings change. It's not similar to the masculine one, and this is why it's important to learn this. Okay, important to learn this. Here, what happens here is muslima. Alif added. Muslimatun. Muslimatun. Muslimatin. Muslimatin. So again, very important. This is why this table is so important, because you'll get confused otherwise. Table is very important. As you can see here, looking at the letters, it looks all the same for the feminine, masculine. But it's tun, muslimatun, muslimatin, muslimatin. Again, this is nasb. Don't get confused. There's no error here. This is nasb because the ending is this atin, not the endings there. Atin. That's the whole thing. Is part of the ending atin. Okay, so it's muslimatin. So again, so feminine will be muslimatun, muslimatan, muslimatin, muslimatani, muslimataini, muslimataini, muslimatun, muslimatin, muslimatin. And again, that is something that you need to know. You need to know. You need to know. Okay, and then in the table we have something called broken plural. We haven't discussed what a broken plural is, and we will discuss that later. So far what we've talked about are called, they're described as the Jam'u Mudhakkar Salim, which mentions there, and Jam'u Muannath Salim, which is the one before we did was the Jam'u Mudhakkar Salim, and this is called Jam'u Muannath Salim. And all it means is that it is sound, not broken like the other one. What that means is this remains the same. Okay? We did nothing to these. Muslim remained, Muslim remained, Muslim remained. Can you see? All of them, it remained. Nothing was done to these. This was not broken. Not broken at all. However, in broken plural, guessed it? Yeah, it's broken. It's broken. So we've got the example there. I'm wondering, should I write it down? You have it there. You have it there, the broken plural. You got your broken plural. It says there, qalamun, qalaman, qalamin. So exactly the same as before, like musliman, muslimun, man, muslimin. Exactly the same. Again, qalimani, qalimaini, qalimaini. Exactly the same as again muslimun. Yeah, where you had muslimani, muslimaini, muslimaini. Here you got qalamani, qalimaini, qalamaini. Okay. However, the broken plural, as you can see, it's different. It's different. So the ending in that is different in the sense that it's broken up. So as you can see, qalamun. We'll just write. I'll drop this out. Try to drop it out. Okay, so for what do we have? We have got qalamun. So in the singular it was qalamun. Qaf, lam, and then mim. But you see it's plural, it's broken up now. That doesn't remain intact. What happens is the plural, as you can say, alif's added before that. Okay, so that's one different, nothing happening. The other ones isn't like that. Aq, and then the alif comes in here again. Aqlamun. Broken, it's no longer intact. Between the lam, there's an alif and there's something before that as well. So it's called broken. And the important thing to remember here is the broken plural. Again, what's important are the endings. You can see it's called aqlamun, aqlaman for the nasab, and for the jar, it's aqlamin. For the jar, it's aqlamin. Okay, not sure if you can see it from there. So it's jar. So it's qalamun, qalaman, qalimin, qalamin. Then it's qalamani, qalimaini, qalimaini. Then it's aqlamun, aqlaman, aqlamin. Aqlam, again the plurals are aqlamun, aqlaman, aqlamin. Okay, so again the endings are important in that. Endings are important in that when it comes to the broken plural. Broken plural. Comes to the broken plural. Okay, and the table is extremely important, so try and memorize it. And the example we gave before, we can substitute it. So instead of muslimun, we could have had muflihun, in which case it would be muflihun, muflihan, مفلحين, مفلحاني, مفلحين, مفلحين, مفلحون, مفلحين, مفلحين. Okay? And inshallah, the next lesson we will go through again the Quran, Surah Fatiha, and maybe start Surah Al-Baqarah as well. This is the first page, and go through some of these, and you can see there's plurals in there as well, so we can pick up on those, inshallah. The other thing I wanted to mention here, which it's not mentioned in the page, is to do with the type. We mentioned about type, we had A, so this one, Muslimun, it would be one Muslim. Muslimun would be one Muslim. Okay, so if we had that means a Muslim. How do we make it into the Muslim? We add alif lam. We add alif lam. We add alif lam. Okay, rest stays the same. It says al. Okay, al-Muslimu, al-Muslimu. So what you can see is, when alif lam comes in, the tanween drops, the double drops, it has to drop. Double and alif lam don't go together, never go together. So it's Muslimun or al-Muslimu, here meaning the Muslim. Okay, meaning a person, male. Okay, so wherever there's an al, the tanween drops. And again, you can use a table. We can use the table, and we should use the table, and you can practice it. So we had now put in alif lam. So again, you need to memorize it, then you can do this. It's al-Muslimu, al-Muslima, al-Muslimi, al-Muslimani. Remember, there's no tanween here, so you can carry on with that. Al-Muslimani, al-Muslimaini, al-Muslimaini, al-Muslimuna, al-Muslimina, al-Muslimina. Understood? And the same again with the feminine, and even the same with the broken plural. So that's the first thing that I want to mention regarding the table. Okay, that's one table. The second thing, and we will cover it in more detail, is what we call what we will describe as heavy and light. Something we're going to describe as heavy and light. These words are called heavy, and we're going to make them light. Okay? How do we do that? First of all, what do we mean by heavy? In this context, what we mean by heavy is anything with a noon ending at the end. So, let's see. So, for example, Muslimun. This is heavy. Why it's got n at the end? Okay? Remember, we write it like that, but in terms of pronunciation, these two are the same. These two are the same. So, reality, this and that is the same. Okay? So if I wrote it like this, Muslimun, that and that are the same. In terms of pronunciation, exactly the same. Okay? The reason why I say the noon is important heavy is because to make it light, what do? We drop. So this is heavy. This is what makes it heavy. So this is heavy. So this is heavy. Heavy. This is what makes it heavy. To make it light, what do? We remove the noon. We remove the noon. That's how it makes it light. So Muslimun, when it's in the light form, and again we can go to the table in the light form, it becomes Muslimu. Muslimu. Can you see? Light form. Nothing to do with alif lam here, just the light form. So this becomes Muslimuna. It's dropped. It's tanween. Muslimu. Okay, and again we can do the same again. Muslimu, Muslima, Muslimi, and here it's going to be Muslima. This is the dual one. The noon, Muslimani. If you again you need to look at the table. The noon has been dropped because in the light and heavy we've got noon's got to be dropped. Okay, don't get confused with the last one. The last one was the tanween has to drop, and the tanween are these things. Here, in the light and heavy, it's about dropping the noon at the end. So for this one, it will be Muslimu. This is the light version, okay? Muslimu, Muslima, Muslimi, Muslima, Muslimay, Muslimay, Muslimu. muslimi. And in the feminine it would be muslimatu, muslimatta, muslimati, muslimata, muslimatay, muslimatay, muslimatu. Without the tanween, muslimati, and muslimati. Okay? And with that, inshallah, we'll end here. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.